I gotta be. They drop what they doing to stop and see. Whatever I do, they gon' copy me. All that new shit they doing, they got from me. I must be the coolest. I gotta be. They drop what they doing to stop and see. Whatever I do, they gon' copy me. All that new shit they doing, they got from me. Excuse me. I'm asking y'all kindly to stop it, please. It's creeping me out. I think y'all some creeps. Y'all only say shit that the possibly trying to play it off like you not watching me. I feel you watching me, no, cause you trying to see. Look, you dead in the eye. Why you don't ever speak when I say hi to you? Why you look at your feet and talk to me all day? You can't talk to me. My name in your mouth, bro. Please spit it off, shorty. Please spit it off before you swallow me. I mean, shorty, it's cool if you swallow these. Whatever side I be on, she gon' follow me. So they do feel the pressure. He ought to be threatened, not dead, but I'm present. Her galaxy beeping, that's me and her D. And she won't be my being. Told me she gon' leave. I'm told her to stay. Yo, you gon' need them when your rent is late. I will not sit today. I do not wear a cape. Like Superman, I'm up in the way. If I see you one day and it's look at you strange, I remember your face, but I don't know your name. Nigga, you lame. If you envy my fan, got my lane. This is deep because you in my lane. I must be the coolest. I gotta be. They drop what they doing. They stop and see. Whatever I do, they gon' copy me. All that new shit they doing, they got from me. I must be the coolest. I gotta be. They drop what they doing. They stop and see. Whatever I do, they gon' copy me. All that new shit they doing, they got from me.
All right. Welcome. My name is Lynn D-Way, but most people call me D-Way. Make it easier so you don't mutilate the name. I'm here to introduce my book. It's called Taxed Out. Taxed Out. This is one cover, and then I have it in another cover called Taxed Out. And this is my account of my 30 plus years of legally not filing or paying any federal or state income taxes. Now, I came here to share with you how I was able to do that, and I have it all written down in my book along with a little proof. And I start my book off with something I just call it the plain truth. And I say, greetings, family. I want to make this as simple as possible because it is simple and very easy to understand, overstand, or however you want to receive it. Point blank and straight to the point. Compensation for labor is not income. That's the key right there. Now, back in 1990, I believe, it might have been 90, 91, me and a coworker, we went to a seminar in Washington, D.C., and I think the brother name was Doug Ross, who actually gave the seminar, and he was like a rocket scientist, some kind of engineer in that field, aeronautics. And he gave the seminar, and he was explaining the difference between income and compensation for labor. And he explained to us that income was profits and gains from sales. Okay, I actually have the definition in here. Income is the return in money from one's business, labor, or capital invested. Return in your money from your business, labor, or capital invested. The key word to here is return. Return. Let's see, I go back to I got these definitions out of Black's Law Dictionary. Return, profit on sale or profit from investments. So income is profits from sales or profits from investments. So when we go to work every day, especially if you're not an entrepreneur and own your own business, when you go to work for someone else and they pay you, that's compensation. They even call it compensation in their own documents because I've written to them several times asking them to show me where I had some income. Because what they'll do is they'll send you letters and they'll say, well, you owe such and such amount of money because you had this much income. But they counted on you not knowing what the word means. And most of us don't. We seem to think that when we go to work, that money we get paid, that's our income because that's how we've been taught. But words mean something. That's why they got all these different books. A law dictionary just for legal words. They got medical dictionaries for medical terms. Because words actually do mean something. So when you look at the word income and you see it as a return from your investments, which is really a profit, then you have to know that when you go to work, that's equal compensation. You're not making a profit because you're giving up 8, 9, 10, 12, how many hours of your time and your energy for whatever money y'all agreed to, you and your company that you work for, the money that y'all agreed to, you work for that money. You give them time, you give them energy, and then they give you what they agreed to pay you. That is no gain there because you had to actually do something to get that. And there is also in my book something from the Internal Revenue Service, Title 26, United States Code, IRC 54, Section 61A. It's in the book, so you can look it up, but you don't have to. And it says, if there is no gain, there is no income. There must be a gain before there is income within the 16th Amendment of the United States of America Constitution. If there is no gain, so here we go back to the word profits. Profits and gains, the advance in price of goods sold beyond the cost of purchase. If you sell something beyond what you paid for it, that extra that you got, that's your profit, that's your income, that's your gain. But if you buy something for $6 and you sell it for $6, you haven't gained anything. But you sell it for $6.01, then you have gained 1 cent. So there's your profit, there's your income. So I have all these definitions in the book. Income, the return in money from one's business, labor, or capital invested. Return, profit on sale or income / profit from investments. So we see right there that the word return is from sales or investments, not merely just going to work. So most of us that just go to work every day and have a job, the money that you get is not income, but you have been duped, miseducated, and pretty much swindled and strong-armed and threatened and intimidated into thinking that it is and too afraid to say possibly that it's not. So in my book, it's called Taxed Out, I actually give you case law. I have 2 court cases in here. One of them is called Connor versus United States of America, and the other one is Oliver versus Halstead. And in Connors, that's the one where they actually said, if there is no gain, there's no income. Connors was basically about a family, their house caught on fire, and the insurance company paid them, I forgot the amount, it was something like $88,000, something along that line. It's in the book, and they didn't put that money on their income taxes when they filed their income taxes, so they got in a problem with the IRS about that. And the Connors actually won the case because everything that they used from the money that they got from the insurance company was used for reasonable expenses for them to live. Because some things increased, they had to have lodging, and it was reasonable. There was no gain, no profit in that. So they won their case. This case is in the book. It's George E. Connor and Dorothy P. Connor. They are the plaintiffs, and they versus the United States of America. Then the other case that I have, it said, okay, this is the Connor case. It's in the book. We agree with the district court that there must be a gain before there is income within the meaning of the 16th Amendment. So that's in the book. You can see it. You will be able to look up Connors on your own if you want to and read the whole case. I didn't put the whole case in there. I was trying to find out the money amount that they had received, but I don't see it right here in here. But it's in the actual case. All right, the next one I have is a case out of Virginia, and that's where I'm from. I meant to tell you the date. Uh-huh. The day is June 5th, 2025. And the next case that I have in the book is Oliver versus Halstead. And this is a workman compensation case, but it has great points in it, and it also explains that your compensation for labor was never intended to be considered income. Here it is. Okay, the word profit is defined in Black's Law Dictionary as the advance in the price of goods sold beyond the cost of purchase. The gain made by the sale of produce or manufacturers after deducting the value of the labor, the materials, the rents, and all expenses. And that's the same thing people do when they itemize. You do your tax return, and you want to try to find as many things that you can take off so you don't have to pay, more taxes. But actually, your compensation for labor should never even be considered income, and you shouldn't be doing anything with it but putting it in your pocket. Now, this is what Oliver versus Halstead says. So listen to this very careful because it's so clear and it's so simple. And once you get it in your head that your compensation for labor is not income and you stick to that, you're going to be okay. And I'm going to show you that I have proof that you will. All right, there is a clear distinction, a clear difference. For those who don't know what distinction means, there's a clear distinction between profit and wages or compensation for labor. There's a clear difference between profits and wages or compensation for labor. Compensation for labor cannot be regarded as profit within the meaning of the law. The word profit, as ordinarily used, means the gain made upon any business or investment, a different thing altogether from mere compensation for labor. It don't get no plainer. It don't get any plainer than that. So if you can't understand that your compensation for labor is not a gain or a profit, therefore you should not be calling it income, and you should not be taxing yourself. You self-assess yourselves every year before April 15th, because that's the so-called deadline, and you put all your compensation for labor. Say you made $40,000 this year. You put the whole $40,000 online. Let me see. I got all this stuff in my book, and I'm gonna tell you how to get out of it. I just wanted to find a tax. Yeah, here's a 2001 tax return, and then on the line, this is the 1040. But I think this was a 1040 EZ. They don't have those anymore. It says total wages, salaries, and tips. Then they say this should be shown in box 1 of your W-2 form. That's where the fraud come in. That's where the deception come in. Because they're saying that your wages, salaries, and tips should be income. And they want you to put this on line 1 of your 1040 tax return. And then they actually say this should be shown in box 1 of your W-2 form. And the question I have to that is, why did they say this should be? Either it's there or it's not there. They know what's on your W-2 forms. They know what's in box 1 of your W-2 form. Box 1 of your W-2 form is going to show your compensation for labor, that 30, 40, 50, 60, however much money you made that year. That's what's going to be in box 1 of your W-2 form. So by them saying this should be, they're actually leading you to that. But they put the word should. They didn't say is, they say should. So in my opinion, they're actually giving themselves a little out in case you learn what I'm trying to teach you today and realize that your compensation for labor is not income. Then they can say, well, we didn't say that it was. We just said that it should be. You're supposed to know the law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's what they're going to tell you. So I said all this to say this, that you put that money on that line, that $30, $40, $60,000, and you're saying that it's income, and then you go down and fill out the sheet, or you itemize and try to make yourself have to pay less, when actually, if you understood the word income and realized that your compensation for labor is not income, you'll be free of them. And I'm going to show you right quick how to actually get out of this, especially those that are working and even somebody that is a entrepreneur. If you provide a service and you get paid for that service, that's still not a profit and gain for you. But if you actually in the business of selling and you sell an actual product that you may manufacture and you sell it for more than what it costs you to make it, or you purchase it and then you sell it for more than what you paid for it, then of course, yes, that money that you made is income. But it's not everything, it's just the money that you made above what you actually put in it. See, a lot of people, they'll do that too. They just like if you sell your house and you sell your house for $300,000, but it's only accessed in the tax records at $250,000. A lot of people, well, when they do their tax return, they'll put the whole $300,000 down there as the profit that they made from the house, which is not true because you have to deduct what the tax assets of the house is, which is 250, from the 300,000 that you may have made. That's going to be your income, not the whole 300,000. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get out of this, and I have proof in my book to show you that when you ask them to show you where you had some income, they can't do it. Because I asked them several times, and they did respond to me. Because here in my book, I have where they sent me a letter. I can show it to you. I don't know if you'll be able to see it good, but this is a letter from the Internal Revenue Service. And they telling me that I must file a tax return for 2017. And then they have this is like a little questionnaire, question page. It's like 2 or 3 pages came with this, and I filled it out. They have a part where you can fill something out and send it back. This is all in there as well. It says if you don't think you have to file a tax return for 2017, then they got all these little questions. Explain why you don't think you are required to file a tax return for 2017. Then they have the answers to these questions apply to the 2017 tax year only. Then they got all these little choices for you. My filing status was head of household, married filing jointly, married filing separately. Then it has single, qualified widow with dependent child. Then it has the following applied to me. I was 65 or older. I am blind. My spouse is 65 or older. My spouse is blind. I am not a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. My work was performed in another country. I should be claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax returns. These were your options. Then it said on the next line, I'm going to show it to you. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this too good. But on this line right here, it says my total income. And I put 0 because I understand that my compensation for labor is not income. So my total income was 0. And then they asked me reason for not filing. Then I said didn't have or receive any income. That's what I said. And I sent this back to them. So they wrote me back. They actually sent this thing to me twice, acting like they didn't receive it the first time, and acting like they were sending me so many correspondence, and I just wasn't responding to them because what they were doing was building a case for due process. They were trying to say, well, we keep asking you to file a tax return for this year, but you're not responding back to us, so therefore we're going to do one for you. But I was responding back to them, and I let them know that I was responding back to them. And I sent this letter to them. It's dated March 11, 2019. It says in this letter, they say, we sent you previous notices asking you to file your tax return, Form 1040 for 2017. However, we still haven't received any response from you. That's what they said to me, and there's their letter. I said, this statement is false. I wrote them and told them this statement is false. I'm not going to allow you to build any kind of case for due process on me, acting like I'm not responding to you. So one thing about it, when they do send you a correspondence, respond to them. And I got plenty of good responses that you can use in this book. They all work perfectly because what you're doing is legal. You don't have to pay income taxes on your compensation for labor. Okay, I said this statement is false. You have not sent previous notices. You only sent one before this one, dated February 18, 2017, which a response was mailed. Okay, then I just said, since you act like you didn't get it, I'm sending it to you again. And then I said also, pursuant to due process and good faith, please provide full disclosure as to who gave your office income information about me, because they claimed they had some information about me that I was self-employed, and I wanted to know who provided that to them. And then I also said, please provide proof that I received any income for the year 2017 or any other year. Please respond with requested information within 30 days of receipt of this response. So what they did, now this was dated March 11, 2019. So June of 2019, they sent me it was 7 letters in one day. They all came the same day, and it was these what they call these things. I can't think of the word right now. It's transcripts. They call them transcripts. I'm gonna show it to you. This is from the Internal Revenue Service. This is what they sent me. I redacted some stuff, and this is supposed to show me where I had some income. So what it says is it has, the name and the social security number, submission type, original document, wages, tips, and other compensation. They don't even call it income. They call it wages, tips, and other compensation. Then they have a money amount there. That's supposed to be the amount of money that I made that year. Then it said federal income tax withheld. They have zero because I don't allow them to take any taxes out of my checks. And I'm going to show you how to do that too. And what they did, like I said, they sent me 7 of these. They all came in the same day. And I only put 3 of them in the book. I put the one this is for 2013. They asked for one for 2013. Because look, I said, I've been doing this since 1991, I believe. This one for 2017 is in the book. And I did put one in here for 2018. This is a transcript, provided by them. Supposed to be showing me my income, where I had some income. Okay, this is the trick. They'll send you this, and if you don't know that your compensation for labor is not income, you'll fall for it, and you'll believe them and think that this is true. So I wrote them again, August 2019, and I let them know. I said, from my careful review, I thanked them. I think I always try to talk. I said, I received 6 transcripts from your agency that are supposed to aid me in preparing the requested tax returns. These transcripts are identified, and I put the identifying number, dated June 26, 2019. Then I said, from my careful review, I failed to see any information concerning income received by me from any source. I see information concerning compensation for labor received. I said, please provide proof of income within 30 days of receipt of this request. I deny receiving any income from any source for any year. Any attempt to file or take any of my property without validating your claim will be denying me, I use my last name, the constitutional protection to due process, and is a federal crime committed under the color of law. That's what I wrote to them August 2019. And August the 2nd, 2019. So I did get a letter back from them. It came October. And they thanked me for my correspondence in August. And they said that they were sending my letter to the office shown below or on the next page. Or actually, they actually sent my letter to another office because they said they're going to be the ones responsible for collecting on my account. And that I will hear from them in 60 days. This is October 24th, 2019. I did hear from them, but it was well past 60 days. I got another letter from the Internal Revenue Service dated November 2nd, 2020. So that was more than a year later. I have a copy of this letter in my book as well. You'll be able to look at it more closely if you do get the book. But I'll be talking about this a little bit more and more. And this letter said, we assign your overdue tax account to a private collection agency. And I was like, really? I'm thinking to myself, what is this private collection agency is going to be able to do that you couldn't do? But okay, this November the 2nd, 2020. So November the 13th, 2020, this a couple of weeks later, I did get a letter from this company called Pioneer Credit Recovery. All of this is in the book, Pioneer Credit Recovery. They wrote me saying that this is about delinquent tax notification. And they got tax period 2012. So they done went back 2012 saying that the Internal Revenue Service assigned your past due tax obligation with Pioneer Credit Recovery, a private collection agency. And, just letting me know, and they wanted me to, pay, how much is this? I don't know, about $20,000, $30,000, something like that. So I wrote Pioneer. My letter is dated, there came November the 13th. My letter is dated November the 17th. And I said, this is my written notice to dispute the validity of this debt and all portions thereof. I said, to my understanding, this alleged debt is due to income taxes. Pursuant to due process and good faith, please provide proof that I received any income for the year 2017 or any other year. That's all you have to ask them. Show your proof. Because if you know that you didn't sell anything and make a profit off of it, you didn't invest in anything and make a profit off of it, then you already know, if you know what income is, that you don't have any and that you never did. So you're going to ask them to show you. You can ask the Internal Revenue Service to show you. They're not going to be able to do it unless you actually had some. And you can ask whatever private agency they try to hook you up with, you can ask them, just show me where I had some income. So I said, please provide proof. I said, please do not send the same responses I received from the IRS when this same request was made last year. That response was 7 letters with nothing but evidence of my compensation for labor, not showing any income. I said, please, let's not waste each other's time with frivolous claims. Please respond with the requested information within 30 days of receipt of this response. So that's what I sent to Pioneer. So Pioneer, they're going to send me another letter. This is dated November 24th. So this stuff is going right back and forth. It's not like no time is lapsing here. So this is November 24th. And this only thing they tell me is that they said, we are writing to reply to your request for information concerning the above reference obligation to our client. And then they said, just contact the Internal Revenue Service and ask for some transcripts. Get the transcripts. Same thing. So I had to write them back again and let them know that I've already done that. I told them, don't contact me again unless they have proper validation of an income tax debt. That was December 17, 2020. And I have not heard anything from them yet.